All right. Good morning, everybody. So today is Daf Pei Aleph. We actually started Pei Aleph yesterday, so we plan to do today's and the second half of today's and tomorrow's. So we're at the bottom line of Pei Aleph Amud Aleph. So Boy Minei Rabba bar Rav Shila mi Rav Chizda. So Rabba bar Rav Shila asked a kasha from Rav Chizda. Ma'u haloisa machrav lagag. So we're talking about using stones to go ahead and wipe after he goes to the bathroom. As we mentioned, stones are muksa, but however, because of kavod brius, we allow a person to go ahead and use stones. We override sort of that isser of muksa for the purpose of using him for kavod brius for cleaning oneself after he goes to the bathroom. So the shaila is, what about to go? He has nowhere else to go, so he wants to go up on the roof. Now, to go up on the roof is basically a tircha yisera, as Rashi calls it. So can one do this tircha yisera for the purpose of going to the bathroom and to bring up the stones there on Shabbos? So he answers, well, there's kavod brios, and even though it's loisase, the loisase over here is that we see that there's certain times a person is allowed to violate when it comes to zakanim. A person elders are returning lost objects. He's allowed to go ahead and turn away. We see that kavod brios is chashuv, right? Because over there for kavod brios, we allow them not to do certain mitzvahs like learning picking up a certain object. Maybe it's less than his kavod to go ahead and find the owner. So over here, well, one is obligated to listen to the laws of the chachamim, and nevertheless, are you allowed to go ahead and the kavod brios and violate you? So he's saying you can violate those laws of listening to the rabbis because of kavod brios, being able to go ahead and wipe yourself upon the roof. So he said over this one. So a person is allowed to go ahead and take a splinter, a little piece of wood that's in front of him. Let's say that only one is that is on the ground, right? In order a splinter that's already prepared, a splinter that's already useful to go ahead and clean his teeth. But however, right? He only take one from something that was already prepared, right? Something that was prepared, like something that was in the crib or like the wood chips or whatever for an animal which is prepared, then he could use those splinters. But a splinter from a piece of wood which is not prepared for Shabbos, a person would not be able to go ahead and clean his teeth, even though cleaning your teeth to get something else is kavod brios. So we see kavod brios is not doiche. So how can you compare it to? Over there, person knows where he's going to eat. So he knows where he's going to go ahead and be able to, he has to clean his teeth. And since he didn't prepare, that's on him. However, but over here, going to the bathroom, does he know when he has to go to the bathroom? You got to go. So therefore, in this case, we'll say that maybe since, he wasn't prepared for it, it doesn't make a difference. Kavod brios should be doiche. And Amar, Ravuna also lefanas besada near b'Shabbos. Person's forbidden to go ahead and to go out in the field to go to the bathroom in a newly planted field. So Gemara says, "My time. What's the reason? Elim v'shum davsha. It is because he's treading upon it and he's causing damage to the person who just planted his field. Afilu b'chol nami. Why do you got to say it's Shabbos to go out there and defecate out there to go to use the bathroom there? It should be also even during the week. Ella mishum asavim. Rather, maybe you're going to say over there, because maybe over there, if he goes out in the field and he'll go ahead and be tearing grass from the stones, right? A rock, right, that he uses, and perhaps some of the grass will be pulled off, or the grass will be pulled off as he takes it, is mutter to go ahead and use it, right, on Shabbos, because those are not his intentions. The intentions are just to go ahead and clean himself and not to uproot and tear off grass. But if one who goes ahead and he tears off the grass from it, right, without cleaning, without using it to clean himself, he's just tearing it off, then he's chayv chatas, because then he's being miskavian to go ahead and remove grass. So how could you say that because of grass, right? And we say over there, right? The Reiz Laga said over there that even the grass to go ahead, you can't go ahead and tear it off. So how could you go ahead and tear off these fields? Rather, what's going to go ahead? He's going to use a stone to go ahead and clean himself. The shadal is and throw it back down. And therefore he'll be chayev by going ahead and basically filling holes on a newly sowed field. As Rabba said we saw earlier, Dama Rabba, if a person had a hole, Betima and bebayis, and if he goes ahead and he fills it up, so bebayis, when it comes in his house, he's chai mishum bain, is chai kazabona, because he's building a structure, he's evening off the floors in his house. So since in his house he wants it to be a sound structure without holes, so therefore filling the hole in a house would be chai kazabona. And the besade, when it comes to a field, chai mishum chayre, she's chai because plowing leveling the field. So therefore, a person should not go out a newly plowed field on Shabbos. Why is that? Because if he goes ahead and he throws the stones back in, he might go ahead and fill up holes on Shabbos, which would be a problem of charisha. So gufa, right? A rock that has grass growing from it is mutter to go ahead and clean himself with it, to use it after he goes to the bathroom. But one who goes ahead and he tears from it on Shabbos, he rips it off because of Shabbos, purposely, then he is chayiv a chatas. And Amarav Papi, Shmami Nami the Reish Lakish, let's learn that what Reish Lakish says, Hi Parpisa, Charlotte, right? That if you have, let's say, a pot, right, that a flower pot that's attached to the ground, it's mutter to go ahead and move it. Why is that? Because maybe it's not considered to be detaching. In other words, we just said you're allowed to go ahead and pull up, right, from the ground. Right, you're allowed to go ahead and pull up the rock from the ground, even though the grass is attached. So it's over here. Maybe you can pull up this pot from the ground, because even though it was attached to the ground, now it's no longer attached. The roots are no longer in there, but it's still sort of in the airspace of the ground, and therefore maybe attached. So maybe you could do it.
I there's something I don't understand.
Yeah.
Reish Lakish says, "Tzor she'alu bo hasavim mutar lekaneach bo." In what context? Because the very next thing he says is, so
if he's going to go ahead and he by using it to wipe himself, okay, by picking it up, he removes grass that way, or he removes grass in the process of wiping, that's okay. But if one purposely removes the grass from it, then he's chai v'chatas. But if you do it without intention,
is he using the grass to wipe himself?
No, he's using the stone, but the grass is growing on the rock.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I apologize. Right. Yeah. So the grass is growing on the.
A little bit. Is something. So he picks up the grass to try to get to the stones.
Right, or he picks up the stone and it's growing in the ground. It's been in the ground for a while. So there's either grass, there's attached to the rock, and also it's attached to the ground. But so by removing the stone from the ground, he's tearing off grass.
Okay, right.
Okay.
So Maskav of Kahana, Im Amru L'Tzarech, Yom Shel L'Tzarech. Well, what are you talking about? In the case of wiping, so you're doing it for a reason. We didn't just say go ahead and tear off grass in your yard on Shabbos. We said you can go ahead and tear off grass. Why? Because you need it, right? You need it for cover of Brios. But over here, in our case, right, there's there's no use to just picking up a flower pot. It should be different. And Amar Abaye, Parpisa, speaking of this flower pot, also liyadan, since you mentioned it, lema leba mil, so let's say a halacha by it, hayamunach al karka, if it was lying on the ground, vehinichol al gabe sedas, and he lifted off the ground and he placed it on pegs, mechayiv v'shem tolesh. He's chayiv because of tolesh, he's chayiv because he's going ahead and he's detaching the flower pot from the ground. And hayamunach al gabe sedas, and if it wasn't attached to the ground, let's say it was on pegs, it was on a stand, vehinichol al karka, then he places it on the ground on Shabbos, he's chayiv meshum naiti. He's chayiv because of planting, because now he's attaching it to the ground and will now start growing from the ground. And Rabbi Yochanan also the kanech becheres b'Shabbos. Person's forbidden to go ahead and use cheres, right? A pieces of pottery to clean himself on Shabbos. So my time, what's the reason? If it's because it's dangerous, he might cause bodily harm to himself. Why do you say on Shabbos or even during the week? Rather because of kishuf. Now, when it comes to black magic, we don't really necessarily understand, but as we'll soon see from Maisa, if somebody who does kishuf, somebody who does black magic, and they find your broken piece of pottery that you used to wipe yourself, they can go ahead and place a curse on you. So if you're saying it's because of someone will place a curse on you of black magic, even during the week should be also, not just Shabbos. Right? Rather, because of the remove hairs while one is wiping himself, if he uses this piece of pottery, and then that's the reason why it's supposed to do on Shabbos. And davar shemis kavin hu, and this is something which is not intended. As a person is not using the shard to go ahead and remove hairs, he's using it to clean himself. Therefore, it's considered to be a davar shemis kavin, something that he did not intend to do. And Amalu Rav Nasan Bar Oisha Gava Rabba Milsa Neva Batama, right? So such a great man says something, and we should really say the reason. Not only during the week that it's Aser, Avaba Shabbos, maybe on Shabbos, maybe at Shabbos because maybe a small piece of earthenware, right, which is a kli. Maybe a person uses a kli. Maybe using a kli is better on Shabbos. Why? Because a rock is muksa, and we say, okay, forget the muksa, you can use it on Shabbos. Or a kli, which is not muksa at all. So maybe I might think that it's better to use the cheres, better to use the kli, than to go ahead and use a rock because the rock is muksa. Kamash malan, even so, even though the rock is muksa, it's better to use the rock than to use the cheres.
Wait, we say that a davar sheina miskaven is mutter because
Right.
you're not intending.
Correct. You're not intending to remove hairs. That's why I said
So, but I just said I thought you just said that using that broken that piece of cheres is usher.
right. So the Gemara says, right. So that was the question on it. Why? Over there. If you're saying why should it be usher, right? It shouldn't be usher because of removing hair, because that's a davar shemis kavin.
That's right.
So therefore,
Davar
they say,
sheina miskaven should be mutter.
right. So now the Gemara is going to explain. So Rava. So the question is like this. The question is, so why would it be usher? Rav Masad Mashum Hasharas Nimin. So Rava says he's going to ask him that. So Rava says because that's removing hairs. So but it's a contradiction in Rabbi Yochanan. Because as we're going to get to Eddie's point in 1 minute, the Shabbos, right? Does Rabbi Yochanan say it's also to go ahead and use pottery on Shabbos because of the reason of removing hairs? Because you can't remove hairs on Shabbos. So if you hold that, Alma, Davar Shemis Kavin Aser. If that's the case, then he would have to hold Davar Shemis Kavin as Aser, like Rabbi Huda, like we mentioned before. There's a machlokes between Rabbi Huda and Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon says something you didn't intend to do is mutter, and Rabbi Huda says he's machmer and says Aser. So are you telling me that Rabbi Yochanan holds that Davar Shemis Kavin is also like Rabbi Yehuda? Hama Rabbi Yochanan halakha stam mishnah. Halakha is like a stam mishnah. And what does the stam mishnah say? It says Tanan by a nazir who's not allowed to go ahead and cut his hair, remove his hair. He's allowed to go ahead and move his hair around, right, and fix his hair with his hand, even though, right, hairs might come out. It's not considered to be intended, right? So he's allowed to do it. In other words, a Davar Shemis Kavin is mutter, not usher. Right, but you can't go ahead and comb it out because combing out of course, it's going to be a psik ratio. It's automatic. It's always going to happen. So nevertheless, we see over there, if it's unintended, like being chayfei face, then it's mutter. So Rabbi Yochanan can't say it's the reason is usher because the Davar Shemis Kavin, because Davar Shemis Kavin is mutter, not usher. So removing hairs is not a reason to usher the pottery. Rather, it must be because that which he said earlier. Of what's it called? Because the fact that that Rav Nassim Bar Oisha gave because of kishuv. So he says, "My kshafim." So what are the kshafim? So kihad Rav Chizda Rabbi Rav Huna, like Rav Chizda Rabbi Rav Huna, havi ka'azli ba'arba. They were traveling on a boat. Sarva lahu. Ha'imitari nisa. So he said over there, I guess they were traveling on a boat. Said this certain lady, right, who's they were suspect of. So she says, "Usama daichu." So let me go ahead and take this the voyage with you guys. And they sort of had a funny feeling about her. So they didn't allow her. They left on the boat before she got there. So what she do is Amri Ihi Milsa Astrali Arba. So she said something, some sort of a spell upon the boat, and it stopped like in the water where it was. Amrinu. So then they combated that, and they said Amrinu Milsa and Shuya. So they said, another psukim, whatever they said, and to combat that, and then the boat started moving again. Samar said to them, what can I do to you? Right? I'm trying to get you guys back, but I can't. Why? What can I do to you? Delo mekanechlu b'chaspa, because you guys never go ahead and use chaspa, right? You never go ahead and you never clean yourselves with pottery, because if you clean yourselves with pottery, then I can go ahead and use that to curse. Right? Because you guys also, you don't go ahead and kill lice upon your clothing. You remove the lice first before you kill them. If they would have killed their lice on their clothing, then she could, cast a curse on them. And you also don't take a vegetable out of the stalk, right? Some sort of vegetable out of a stalk, which also, I guess, with black magic, if one eats his vegetables by pulling out of stalks, then perhaps they can go ahead and put a spell on you, black magic, right? In other words, to go ahead and to remove some sort of vegetable that the gardener went ahead and he bundled them together, and then and this way that is a way of casting a spell. But they were very careful not to do any of these things in order that this lady would not be able to place any sort of black magic spells on her or on them. So Omar lay, so 3 lines from the top of Pei Beis Amud Aleph. So this is tomorrow's daf. So Omar lay Rav Huna l'Rav Berei. My time lo shachin kamei de Rav Chizda. Why? How come you never go and learn by Rav Chizda the Mechadin Shemaitza? Because his teachings are very sharp, very wise. So Omar lay my azi legabi. Why should I go there? Right, the chiazi legabi. My sivli b'mila dalma. When I go there, it seems like he's talking about regular matters. He's not talking and learning. Samarlei man loyal to the Beis Akise. He's giving advice about going to the Beis Akise. Or lo lisi behedya. Don't go sit down hard. Lo litrach tvei, and don't push too hard. The high kakishta atlas shine. Because over there, when I guess a person he pushes too hard, right? So he has, I guess, 3 different muscles down there when he tries to go to the bathroom. And if he sits down and too hard, so shini yasiv and dilma mishtame shine derkashta, and perhaps they'll be he'll cause damage down there by pushing too hard. V'yasle de sakana, he'll come to have sakana. Samarlei ha isi b'chay debrasav atamar to b'mili alma, right? He's giving you advice how to live. He's telling you advice is how to live and how to avoid sakana. And you're telling me these are mundane matters. These are stuff that dvarim b'telim. Certainly you should go ahead and learn from him even in these matters. So hayu lefanav tzur the cheres. Let's say a person has in front of him a rock and a cheres. So which one should he wipe with? Should he wipe with a rock or should he wipe with a cheres? So Rav Huna amar mekanech b'tzura ve'en mekanech b'cheres. You should go ahead and use the stone and not go ahead and use the cheres. Rav Chizda amar mekanech b'cheres ve'en mekanech b'tzura. Right? This is not necessarily even on Shabbos. So this is even during the week. So go ahead and use the cheres, use the earthenware, right? And do not go ahead and use the stones. What do you mean? We have a brayso that says beferish that person should go ahead and use the cheres, not the stone. So it's used to the Rav Huna. It's a kasha. Rav Huna was the first opinion said you should use the stone. So take him Rav and Bar Papa kamei Rav Chizda ali b'Rav Huna be'oigene kalim. We're talking about oigene kalim. By certain kalim, they broke off from kalim. Let's say for use, let's say spoons or whatever it is, something which was rounded. Something which is rounded, then that is not would not cause any danger. There's no sharp edges, and since there's no sharp edges, in that case, it was preferable to go ahead and use kalim to use the cheres. Now, what about haylafan of tzror v'asavim? Let's say he had in front of him stone, and he also had hard grass. Hard grass, which one should he use? So Rav Chizda, Rav Hamnuna, Chadomar Mekanech B'Tzror, Ve'en Mekanech B'Asavim. One says use the stone, the smooth edges. However, the grass can go ahead and cut. I don't know, a paper cut or some sort of a cut that it can cause by using the grass. V'Chadomar, that one says no, Mekanech B'Asavim, Ve'en Mekanech B'Tzror. That one says no, use the grass that's softer, then do not go ahead and use the stones. So Meis Ve'asakasha Mekanech B'Davar Sha'ur Shalatas Bo. So one who goes ahead, shinav hatachtoinas neishros. One who goes ahead and wipes himself, right, with something that is flammable, right, something that can catch fire, right. His lower teeth, right, shinav, right, his lower teeth, but it means perhaps the muscles, right, by the by his rectum, right, will go ahead and will fall out, so cause damage. So look how shahabalach and habalivation. So that which you said, use the grass, even though grass is flammable, but this talking about wet, moist grass, therefore it's not flammable. Right? I saw in the footnotes it mentions in terms of nowadays, right? Toilet paper is flammable, right? So some do not this. So the Shulchan does not bring down this halacha. Some say so. Therefore, or others say that we have what's it called? That since everybody uses it. So therefore, it's something that that since everybody uses something that's flammable, so therefore it's sharp B'Sayim Hashem, and therefore Hashem watches over fools, and therefore it is not an issue of sakana to use something which is flammable. Fine. Although according to this, wipes would be better than dry toilet paper, okay? Because it's wet and it's not flammable. Hanitzach lefanos vein nifna. One who has to go to the bathroom and he can't go. So you will have a ruach ra, bad breath, some sort of bacteria or something in his breath, right? And the chadoma ruach zuma shalizbo will have something in his entire body, right? In his entire body that will basically start to build up if he doesn't go ahead and go to the bathroom, despite the fact that he's trying, but it's building up. So Tani command doma ruach zuma shalizbo. We actually write in support of the one who says that he has within himself, right? In Tani the Tanya, one who has to go to the bathroom, and instead of going to the bathroom, he goes and he eats more, right? It's like a person who goes ahead and he starts an oven before cleaning it out. And since he didn't clean it out yet, he starts the oven, right? So therefore, he creates everything inside together. It says over there beferish that this is the beginning of ruach zuma. That's some sort of foul smell and foul that goes on inside his body. And hutzach lifanos lifanos, a person has to go to the bathroom and he can't go. So what should he do? Rav Chiza yamad v'yeshiv. He should stand up and sit down multiple times until he goes to the bathroom. And Rav Chanan and Ardi Omar yistelik letzadin. You should go ahead and move side to side. And Rav Hamnuna Omar mashrish b'tzor v'oisamakom. You should go ahead and use a rock and try and go ahead and cause himself, right? So sort of similar to like an enema or whatever, not an enema, but using a what's it called? The glycerin, what's it called? The whatever.
Depository.
Depository, right? He's use that to help to be able to go to the bathroom, right? And Rabbanan Amri Yasich Daito, he should go ahead and not think about it. So Gemara says, "Amar leRavach and Bered the Rav Ravashi Kol Shekei Dechim Yasich Daito LeMifnei." And if he doesn't think about it, then he's not going to go to the bathroom, right? So Amar le Yasich Daito Dvar Mecher. No, he knows when he does. Don't think about other things. Don't think about other things, but concentrate on trying to go to the bathroom, and then hopefully we'll be able to go. Said Amarav Yirmiyah Medifti Ledidi Chazli Hayataya Dekam Yasef Dekam Yasef. I saw a certain Arab. He had to go to the bathroom. He was standing up and sitting down multiple times, up and down, Ad the Shafach B'Kader, until he went to the bathroom. So so much came out that it was like pouring out the contents of a pot. And Taner Rabbanan Hanichnas Lesudas Keva, one who is about to go to a large meal. Yelech, and he should go to the bathroom before. Yahalech eser pamim shal arba amos. Person should go ahead and walk 10 times back and forth, 4 amos. And some say arba pamim 4 times. Shal eser amos. Each time doing 10 amos and v'nifna, and then he'll be able to go to the bathroom because it will loosen his bowels. V'nichnas v'yishim and koma. Then he'll go ahead and be able to go ahead and sit down and enjoy his suda. Fine. Naya Mishnah. Mishnah says.
Naya Mishnah.
Naya Mishnah. Mishnah says last Mishnah of the parak. Cheres. So how much cheres does one have to go ahead and take out in order for him to be chayiv for carrying on Shabbos, right? So kadei litein ba patzim lechaveru, right? In order to put in between, right, the different boards, if a person is stacking boards, he doesn't want them one on top of each other because perhaps they'll cause the others to warp. So therefore, he wants to put like a little separator in between. So he puts a piece of pottery there. So that size pottery is the amount that one is chayiv for carrying on Shabbos. Div Rabbi Yehuda, that's been Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Meir says kedei lachtais basor. All right, in order to go ahead and pick up coal, a burning coal, you can't touch with your hands, too hot. So you take a piece of kli cheres and you basically pick it up with that. And Rabbi Yosi Aimer kadei lekabel b'revis. It has to be enough cheres to hold a revis of water. And Amar Rav Meir says, Rav Meir, who was the second opinion, even though I have no proof, Torah doesn't say beferish, but I have a hint from a pasuk that the cheres is used to go ahead and pick up burning coals. All right, as the pasuk says, "V'lo yimatzei b'mechitaso cheres lachtes eish miyukad." Right, they won't find anything there referring to destruction, not even a piece of earthenware, in order to go ahead and pick up fire. So you see over there that it's a hint for the cheres to be used as picking up fire. And Amar Rabbi Yisrael says, Misham Raya, is that a proof over there? The end of the pasuk says, right, or to pick up water. So you bring your proof from Kol, and it says in the same pasuk, right, also, for picking up water, which according to Rabbi Yisrael is saying that's a revis. So you have no proof over me. So let's see the Gemara. So skip the parentheses. So Mistavra, Shiur Rabbi Yisrael Nofish, right? It's more logical to say that the shear of Rabbi Yisrael which was the last opinion of a revis of water or liquids, right, is more than that of Rameir. Umikra, but however, from the pasuk, Shira de Rameir nafish, right? But however, Rameir, it seems that his proof that the pasuk seemed to say that his, so you think in order to hold a piece of coal, you don't need too much, but to hold the revis of water, you would need a larger piece of cheres. But when it comes to the pasuk says, right, you won't be able to use the earthenware for picking up coal, and you won't find earthenware to pick up water. Right, so it sounds like it gets smaller and smaller because shir the Rameir nafish. According to for the pasuk, it sounds like Rameir is larger. Why? These that's a shir of the Rabbi Yosi nafish. If you think that the shir of Rabbi Yosi is larger, so why would it go ahead and curse him? Right, you should go ahead and curse them with they would be able to a small kli and then something larger. So obviously, but it didn't. So in other words, that. When they're going to go ahead and curse and say you're not going to be able to find anything, right? So they're always going to say, you're not going to be able to find even a big one or even a small one. They're not going to say you won't be able to find a small one or a big one, right? That doesn't make sense in the curse. So the curse must be that the first shear, right, is something that is big, right? And then he says you won't even be able to find a big one or a small one, right? That's how the curses should go. So you see over here that the pasuk is mashma, that the bigger shear was holding that of the fire. Maybe it stems, it goes with our Mishnah, because the Mishnah, maybe that which it says to remove a hot fire doesn't mean a small burning coal, maybe it means a larger fire. So according to Rab Meir, it's a large piece of cheres to hold a pretty big fire, and then comes Rab Meir and says, no, even smaller, only to hold water. And Rabbi Yosi, Omer Mishum Rais, is a Misham Rais, so there is a proof. So Shapir Kamer Le Rabbi Yosi Rameir. So it was a good response, Rabbi Yosi to Rameir, to sound like that. Yes, even my shear is smaller, and that's why it mentioned at the end. So Rameir, Lomi Boy Kamer. So Rameir say no, it went in the order of Lomi Boy Kamer, not needed. Lomi Boy Midi Dechashalin Shidalishtakechle. Not only will you not be able to find things, right, that people are considered to be chashuv, right? Ella filo now is cheres chashuv to go ahead and carry fire. Ella filo midiloi chashavlin shilo lishtachle. Not only that, but people won't even be able to find cheres that's used for things that aren't chashuv, like holding a little bit of water. So therefore, in other words, the pasuk makes sense, and therefore, in other words, it doesn't have to do with the order of size was the curse, but the order in chashivas, and that's the reason why that the cheres for the fire was mentioned first, because that's more chashuv. But not only would you not find cheres when it comes to moving fire, you won't even find cheres when it comes to moving water. So Hadr Allah Hamaitzi Yayin.
Hadr Allah Hamaitzi Yayin.
Women govern mazel govern
Now we're going to go on. I'll get you out of here by 8:15. Let's do this as a small blot. So Amar Rabbi Kiva says now, as Rashi points out, let's get that mute button going, right? So as Rashi points out, so Rashi says that we're going to be mentioning many cases where we say menayin. So the Gemara, the Mishnayos is going to go through a list of things that say menayin. So the first one is Amar Rabbi Kiva, menayin le'avodah zarah shematami b'masa. Where do we see that avodah zarah is matami b'masa? Now, matami b'masa means that if one is carrying it, all right, even if you're not making contact, if you are supporting or if you're carrying it and you're not necessarily touching it, if you're carrying something, you get that tumah, even though despite there's no touch. So how do you know avodah zarah is in that? Because avodah zarah doesn't say in the Torah. So it says kanida. It's compared to a nida. Shnei the pasuk says tizarin kamodava save tamer. It says cast them away like a nida. Say, right, go out, tamer lo. Tell the avodah zarah to go out. In other words, avoid avodah zarah. And it says cast the avodah zarah away like a nida. So we see that the pasuk compares avodah zarah to nida. Man nida shematami b'masa, just like man nida is matami through carrying, even despite no touching. Avodah zarah is matami b'masa. So the avodah zarah is matami through masa. So let's see the Gemara. So the Gemara says, Tanan Hosam, we learned over there in another Mishnah, Mishahayo Beisa Samach Avodah zarah. A person built a house, then later on, there was a house built next door to attached to his house, and that house was worshipped as an idol, as a god. V'nafal, and his house died. His house died. His house fell down, and he wants to go ahead and rebuild his house. But promise, if he rebuild his house, he's also partially rebuilding Avodah Zarah. So what should he do? Also, live nice. He's for him to go ahead and rebuild it. So Kate said, "Yasa, what should he do? He should move within his property of Dalet Amos, and then build there. So therefore, the Avodah Zarah, he is not benefiting Avodah Zarah. What? All right.
Turn the page.
I can't hear you.
I just said turn the page. That's it.
Oh, turn the page. Yes, thank you. So Haya Shalom v'Shalom Avodah Zarah. If let's say the wall was built on both his and the Avodah Zarah, they shared it, even though they built it at the same time, but only later on. Obviously, you can't go ahead and build a house for Avodah Zarah, but he built it first, and later on, it was then worshipped. So Nidon Mechza Mechza. Then you go ahead and it's 50-50. So if the wall was right a foot, so therefore he has to move within 6 inches, and then from the 6 inches is his, and then he has to add another onto the 6 inches, another whatever Dalet Amos, including that 6 inches. He can basically start midway through the boundary. And Avana ve'etzav afarav metamim b'chesheretz. But the stones and the walls that were worshipped as Avodah Zarah, so these are like actual Avodah Zarah itself. How are they matame? According to this Mishnah, matame kesheretz. It doesn't say matame kanida. It says matame kesheretz, right? Now, sheretz is only is matame through actual touch, not just carrying. If you carry a dead sheretz and you're not making contact with it, right? It's on something else, so it's not you're not matame because the sheretz. Shenamar, as the pasuk says, shakes says shaksenu. It says right the Avodah Zarah is a abomination. And over there, use the word sheketz we learn from there like a sheretz. Rabbi Kiva Imer Kanida. Rabbi Kiva argues over there and says, no, it's like a nida. Shinamar, as the pasuk says, that he brings with our Mishnah. Our Mishnah says, Shinamar Tizen Kamadava. You should cast away the Avodah Zarah like a nida. Ma nida matame b'masa, just like a nida matame b'masa. Af Avodah Zarah matame b'masa. So to Avodah Zarah is matame b'masa. So now we're going to have a machlekes. We're going to see two opinions. The first one is that of Rabbah. The next one is that of Rabbi Elazar. So Omer Rabba Tizarim Damer Kra. So Rabba says when the pasuk says cast away Damer Kra, Nachrin Minach Kazar, right? You should make the Avodah Zarah like a stranger. Say Tamar Loi, right? And in other words, you say go away, Tamar Lo, Hichane Sal Tamar, and don't say come enter. In other words, we want to distance ourselves as much as possible away from Avodah Zarah, and therefore, in order to go ahead and distance ourselves, we'll put as many precautions in place, i.e., we'll say it's Tameh, to any degree. V'amar Rabba. So it says Rabba in there. So how do we learn that? What type of precautions? V'amar Rabba Masa, when it comes to carrying the Kuli Amalei Pligi the Matame. Everyone agrees that Avodah Zarah is Matame. Because over there we see that it's compared to Anida. Anida is Matame b'masa. So too Avodah Zarah is Matame b'masa. So Kipligi, what is the machlokes between Rabbi Kiva and the Rabbanan? Kipligi be'evan mesama. So they argue with Evan Mesama. Now, Evan Mesama was the pasuk says over there, where is over there? Is in Daniel, right? It says over there that they placed, let's say this was used, let's say these were pegs, and they put a stone on top of these pegs, and there was stuff underneath it. So there was called Evan Masama, there was the stone that was in place. So anything that is, if something is Matame Evan Masama, if it was on top of this stone, even though it's not touching anything underneath it, the Evan would basically transplant the tumah underneath it. So that's called Matame, the Evan Masama, right? It's not as commonly known as the other cases of tumah, but this is called, it will be Matame, Evan Masama, which is the most machmir of tumah, and now we only say by a nida. So we say, just like a nida man, nida Matame Evan Masama. Excuse me, one second. I skip a line. Keep leaving Be'ev Masama. Rabbi Kiva Savar Kanida. It was like Ma Nida Matame Be'ev Masama. Just like a Nida Matame Be'ev Masama. She is on top of the rock. Anything, any kalim or anything underneath, it is as if the Nida touched it. Avodah Zarah, so to Avodah Zarah is on top of Matame Be'ev Masama. So that was Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Kiva's machmir. He holds the Nida and Avodah Zarah are both Matame Be'ev Masama. And Rabbanan Savari Kasheretz. They held no. Avodah Zarah is not the machmir. It's only like a sheretz. Ma sheretz lo matame be'ev masama, just like a sheretz not matame be'ev masama. Avodah Zarah lo matame be'ev masama. So too, Avodah Zarah is not matame by ev masama. So Rabbi Kiva. So lamai hilchasa iskish sheretz. So okay, Rabbi Kiva, you want to say Avodah Zarah is just like a nida? That's fine. But the pasuk of shaketz teshaksenu sounds like that there is some comparison of avodah zarah to a sheretz. What is the comparison? Rabbi Akiva, nami ma'hilchos ha'ishki the sheretz, right? Right? That which is used to go ahead and worship it. If something is used to go ahead and worship it, those things also are tamei, just like a sheretz. V'rabbanan, l'mai hilchasa iska shenida. And the Rabbanan say, no, it's by Evan Masam, it's just like a sheretz. So if that's the case, when do the Rabbanan compare avodah zarah to a nida? Right? So a nida. So lamasa for caring. So the Gemara says, so if that's you don't need nida, right? Because nida is not the only thing that's matame in a case of masa, of caring. So nevela also, even by a case of nevela. So the Gemara says, Eina chanami, right? So Ella, what did we learn from nida? Ma nida ein levarim, just like by nida, right? Let's say a limb falls off of a woman who is a nida, or a body part, right, of a nida. So just like over there, mani, we don't say that, right? That limb is matame tumas nida. It's actually tama tumas mace, right? But it's not matame tumas nida, right? So man nida in levarim, avodah zarah in levarim. So too, if avodah zarah, if it breaks apart and there's a limb or a part of the avodah zarah, that is not matame. Just like by nida, it's not matame. So for Ella had the boy Rav Chama bar Guria. But one second, if this is the case, and we hold. So, but Rav Chama bar Guri asked a question of Azara Yesh Levarim, Ein Levarim. Right when Rav Chama bar Guri asked this exact question, if a limb breaks off of Azara, is it tamei or not? So Tifshe Le Miha, right? The Rabbanan Ein Levarim. So if that's the case, why don't you answer over here? We see over here the Rabbanan hold that there is no Evarim when it comes to Avodah Zarah. So if that's the case, we learn over here, why didn't Pasha they answer that? So Rav Chama bar Guria, because that wasn't asked according to Rabbanan, right, who used the comparison to Nida, there's no Evarim. That was they asked a question according to Rabbi Kiva, who already used Nida to teach us Evan Masama. So the question was according to Rabbi Kiva, who already used the comparison of Avodah Zarah to Nida. What is halacha le'evarim when it comes to Avodah Zarah? Rabbi Eliezer. Now that was the opinion of Rabbah. That explanation. Now we're going to Rabbi Eliezer. Amar be'evan masama. When it comes to evan masama to kulei amalei pligi deloy matami. Everyone agrees by evan masama. Only a nida on top of the evan, on top of the stone, is matami things underneath the stone. Right. That's even as being supported by something else. Only a nida, not avodah zarah. Everyone agrees. Even Rabbi Kiva agrees. Ki pligi, when do they argue? But masa, when it comes to carrying it without making contact. Rabbi Kiva savar kanida, he holds like a nida. Ma nida matav masa, just like when nida is matav masa. Af avodah zarah matav masa. So too avodah zarah is matav masa. V'rabbanan savri. Rabbanan say no. Avodah zarah is kasheretz. Ma sheretz lo matav masa. Just like sheretz is not matav masa, but only if you make contact. Af avodah zarah lo matav masa. So too avodah zarah is not matav through masa. Rabbi Kiva, if that's the case, so what was the reason? What did Rabbi Kiva learn out the comparison of Avodah Zarah to sheretz? Right, to that which is used to, like we said earlier, the same way. In other words, that which is used to go ahead and serve the idol, those are tamei just like a sheretz. According to Rabbanan, for what do they learn out? Comparing it to Avodah Zarah to Nida. So ma Nida ein levarim, just like Nida is not, the parts of a nida, right, is not considered to be matame tumas nida, rather tumas mace, right? Avodah zarah, so to avodah zarah, if it breaks off, ein levarim. It's also not, it also is not matame in parts. We're just going to go down a couple more lines, right? We'll finish up the sugya. Rabbi Kiva, l'mai hilchos ha'ishkas anida l'masa, luksha l'nevela. So according to Rabbi Kiva, why do you say it's compared to a nida to teach you it's matame b'masa for carrying? Luksha nevela. You could just use nevela for that. You don't need a nida for that. You can use it for nevela, which is less chamer than nida. So what do you learn from nida? So Gemara says, you're right. And Echanami, you're right. Ella, ma nida ein levarim, af avodah zarah ein levarim. So just like nida is not levarim, so too avodah zarah is not for limbs. So if that's the case, according to Rabbi Kiva, right, that we learned from Nida, it's not levarim. So why did so Elo Hadaboy Rav Chaim Bar Guri Avodah Zarah Yesh levarim or Ein levarim? So that which Rav Chaim Bar Guri asked is Avodah Zarah. Does it apply for limbs or not? Why did he not know? Tifshalei Milha Bein LeRabbanan Bein Rabbi Kiva Bein levarim. According to Rabbi Elazar, right, both Rabbi Kiva and Rabbanan both hold that there is no such thing as any limbs when it comes to tuma by Avodah Zarah. Both of them hold that it's tahor. So Rav Chama bar Guria karabba masin. So therefore, Rav Chama bar Guria, who asked the kasha, he must have held like the first opinion we hold, like Rabba uboy Rabbi Kiva. And like we said earlier, he asked according to Rabbi Kiva, not according to Rabban. But according to Rabbi Eliezer, both Rabbi Rabbi Kiva and Rabbanan both hold that there is no broken parts for Avodah Zarah. Those would not be Matame, and we'll stop here at the Meisvei. Yeshkoyach, everybody, and sorry for being a little late. Everyone should have a wonderful day, and I think it's supposed to stay safe and stay dry if it rains later. Take care.